This vision was quite clear. Burkina Faso is a destination. Burkina Faso is not a land of deportation. And we made that clear by stating that Captain Ibrahim Traoré's decision, which was to offer hospitality to all Africans, should not be seen as an opportunity for a third country to get rid of certain populations that it considers undesirable.
Good evening, Africa and the world. I'm Akosua Prempeh, broadcasting from the United States of Africa. Tonight, we focus on a bold declaration that's making headlines across the globe. Burkina Faso is not a deportation land. This powerful statement came from the Burkinabè Minister of Foreign Affairs after the United States suspended visa services in Ouagadougou, asking Burkinabè citizens to travel all the way to Togo for their visa applications. But behind this announcement lies something deeper, a test of sovereignty, dignity, and Pan-African unity. Stay with me as we uncover what really happened, why this decision matters, and what it tells us about Africa's future in global diplomacy.
He took part in the Council of Ministers and is with us this evening on the 8 p.m. news set. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Cooperation, and Burkinabè Abroad has come to provide us with more information about the procedure for obtaining an American visa for Burkinabè citizens, following information circulating on social media regarding a new decision made by the American authorities. Good evening, Mr. Minister.
Good evening, Ms. Kere.
So, according to this information circulating on social media, we learned that Burkinabè citizens applying for American visas will now have to go to Lomé in Togo for the formalities. Can you confirm this?
Well, I must say that it was indeed with surprise that we received just this evening a diplomatic note from the United States Embassy in Ouagadougou, which indeed confirmed to us this rumor that had been circulating on social media until now. Officially, the reason stated in this diplomatic note is that Burkina Faso, like several other African countries, is on a list of states whose nationals have not complied with the rules regarding visa usage. This concerns tourist visas as well as student visas. And so, in this particular regard, the United States Embassy has been, let us say, formally instructed to implement this temporary and indeed significant suspension of issuing tourist and student visas to all Burkinabè citizens who will now be specifically required to travel to their embassy in Togo in order to obtain these essential documents. This measure has been put into place to address certain concerns and ensure proper procedures are followed. The official note, of which I have a copy, also specifies that the procedures will have to be restarted, not only for registration but also for payment in order to obtain these visas at the US Embassy in Togo. So this serves to confirm that what had until now been considered a rumor has been confirmed by the United States diplomatic mission here in Burkina Faso. I have mentioned these reasons as the official grounds. It turns out that the official note we received contains suggestions that refer to an agreement the United States has been trying to propose to the Burkinabè side since the Trump administration took office. As soon as that administration began, Lamassar approached us to make this proposal as part of the implementation of American migration policy. What was it about? It was about offering African states that wish to, since they are in a process of identifying and expelling nationals living in the United States who are not in compliance with their residency, to expel them. The idea was to see if Burkina Faso, aside from our own nationals, was willing to receive other people who would be expelled by the United States. Naturally, this proposal, which we considered at the time to be indecent, is completely contrary to the value of dignity that is at the very core of Captain Ibrahim Traoré's vision. We said that Burkina Faso could not be that destination. After that, we had several subsequent meetings, always along precisely the same lines of discussion, and we clearly understood that he was quite insistent that we absolutely accept this particular measure. With the adoption of the decree making visas free, they came back again to say, we see that there is a Pan-African spirit, and since visas are free, are you willing to receive non-Burkinabè nationals who wish to travel to Burkina Faso? Our response was quite clear. Any national? African? Anyone wishing to come to Burkina Faso freely, who pays for their own ticket, is welcome here in Faso. If they decide on their own and buy their ticket, we grant them a free visa and they can come to Burkina Faso. Nationals who are under orders to choose a destination, because we are a country with free visas, we would end up being a destination for deportation. This vision was quite clear. Burkina Faso is a destination. Burkina Faso is not a land of deportation. And we made that clear by stating that Captain Ibrahim Traoré's decision, which was to offer hospitality to all Africans, should not be seen as an opportunity for a third country to get rid of certain populations that it considers undesirable. We remain a land of welcome, a land open to all Africans, as long as they make the decision to come of their own free will. Just yesterday I had a meeting with the US Embassy during which we once again discussed this issue. It was the umpteenth time we had discussed it, because when I was at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, I had a conversation with the Undersecretary of State in charge of this issue, who once again brought up the possibility of offering us free visas as an incentive. We repeated the same thing. So it's curious that it was only after we once again confirmed our refusal to accept undesirable nationals, refusing to consider our country as a dumping ground for deportations, which is both unworthy and indecent, that this decision was made. So you will understand with me that the connection is obvious. Is this a form of pressure? Is this blackmail? In any case, it is important to clarify that in the vision of the Popular Revolution, Burkina Faso is a land of dignity and will remain a land of dignity, a destination, not a dumping ground for deportations.
So, Mr. Minister, precisely we have learned about the upcoming visit at the end of October of Afro-descendants to Burkina Faso, or rather to Burkina Faso. Is this visit connected to the decision just made by the American authorities?
I would say clearly no. And as you may know, we were surprised by this measure, which came suddenly after our categorical response to receive people who are considered undesirable. It's not to label them as undesirable people. It's related to the fact that the current government's policy unfortunately sees every foreign national as a threat, which is very serious. And that's what we repeated to the American representatives, that among these people there are many Africans, many Latin Americans, many non-Americans who live there, who have sacrificed their lives and contributed to building peace and the economy of the United States. They have done every kind of job there is. They have cleaned out the sewers, swept the streets, and taken care of the elderly in nursing homes. They have worked in every sector to provide Americans with a decent life. These people are now labeled as undesirable because they entered the country illegally. It is, of course, a sovereign decision, but this measure cannot be, let's say, the main reason for simply identifying random destinations in Africa and dropping them off there. So, to return to the question of Afro-descendants, the Afro-descendants who wish to come to Burkina Faso are brothers and sisters who want to reconnect with their own history, to rediscover themselves. They see in Burkina Faso a land with which they identify. They come here out of love, and many of them wish to settle in Burkina. I should clarify that many of them have acquired citizenship. Burkina Faso, and we are currently working to prepare for this stay. So these people are coming of their own free will. These are not people who are being forced to choose a destination. Do not confuse the two. Do not confuse the two. Do not confuse the two. And anyone who decides to come freely, who is not forced to stay within a perimeter defined by a third-party state or told, you must leave, here is a list of countries among which you must choose your destination, these people can come here peacefully. So these are two different things, and we will always work to remain a welcoming land for all these people. But as I said, we are not a land of deportation, so that's quite clear. And I want to reassure our Afro-descendant brothers and sisters who are planning to visit Burkina Faso that they will always be at home here and that we will take measures to ensure they truly feel African, that they feel they are on a land of dignity.
So, Mr. Minister, in light of the decision being discussed tonight, this decision by the American authorities, how do you see the future of cooperation between Burkina Faso and the United States?
Burkina Faso has always been and continues to be open to constructive dialogue. What is truly new and significant today with the ongoing and progressive popular revolution is the profound emphasis on mutual respect and understanding. We will steadfastly maintain good and constructive relations with all sovereign states that genuinely respect us as human beings, with all states that truly respect our inherent dignity. Naturally, the significant measure that has been decisively taken cannot possibly leave us entirely indifferent. In diplomacy, we speak of reciprocity. We will take the necessary measures up to the extent of those taken by the American authorities without compromising the friendship, solidarity, and brotherhood between the people of Burkina Faso and the American people. Because we must not confuse things. There is a sense of goodwill between communities, between populations, who want to work together, but who often find themselves in situations where authority creates boundaries or walls that separate them. So this is to reassure you that we remain an open land. We are still a country of dialogue, a country that wishes to establish and nurture relationships with all countries that respect us.
Thank you very much, Mr. the Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs. Let me remind you that you came to provide us with information about this decision and about the American authorities who are inviting Burkinabè citizens to go to Togo to obtain a U.S. visa. Thank you for staying with us for the rest of the program.
Now, before we continue, I'd like to hear from you, our viewers, across Africa and beyond. Question 1. Do you believe Burkina Faso made the right decision by refusing to accept deported migrants from the United States? Question 2. Should other African nations take the same stand to defend their sovereignty and national dignity? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, because your voice matters, and together we shape the future of our continent. Thank you for watching this special report on the United States of Africa TV. As we've seen tonight, Burkina Faso's stand sends a clear message to the world. Africa is not a dumping ground. Under Captain Ibrahim Traore's leadership, the country stands firm for dignity, independence, and unity. I'm Akosua Prempe, reminding you that Africa's voice is rising. One voice, one dream, one destiny. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing you stories that empower our people. Good night, and may God bless Africa.